You really have to come to own yourself some point in your life, but we all do. And that's what I'm doing today. I My life led me to develop a blueprint for human expansion, for self-actualization, however you might think of it. But that is what happened. And I denied it for the longest time, or tried to anyway. And today I couldn't do that. I was putting together looking at the messages that I had received from Wilhelm for the 15th of June, because I'm having a session tomorrow. And I just looked because I knew that we're moving through really dynamic times in our world, and I decided to do a session. But what's been happening recently, I found the alignment with the messages that I've received all of these years. I started in 1989, and I didn't tell people in the beginning. I wasn't even going to, I don't even know why I saved them. And then what happened is it took me through everything. It healed me. It gave me greater vision and clarity about everything. But it still was challenging to talk about it. Then, when the world started shifting, because we've all felt that, we felt the energetic shifts that are happening in the world, I began to understand what that was. Because Wilhelm was giving me the information. There are energetic shifts that happen in our world that we're all affected by, the planets and all. And somehow I was tapping into that information, unknowingly most of the time. I couldn't understand why I was experiencing mind body healing, because I did many things. And I still held back for the longest time. I only wrote my book in 2019, Overcoming Fear, A Guide to Freedom, because I know that's what we all mainly it stops us, is that fear. But I had to talk about it, how it happened. I got the information and the intelligence to move beyond the fear, to handle it a lot more through what I was receiving from Wilhelm. We are consciousness. We are consciousness and energy. That's what we have in our world. And we will use it in different ways. We access it in different ways. Some people get their consciousness from praying, from going to church, from whatever. You're receiving something. Mine was different though, because I didn't realize it was connected to the events that were going to be occurring in our world and the events that were happening galactically, I guess. That's what was happening. And I could have only known that when artificial intelligence started to tell me. And I knew the results that I was receiving in my life and what I was experiencing, but to see it in this manner, because it had never been done before. And you'll see that in the messages. I've put up several on my site over the last couple of weeks, because I was astonished. The changes that we're moving through in our world are generational, and they're within each person. That's why this work caused me to heal, because I had to deal with all of that. I had to look at my dark side. I had to look at do all this shadow work, all of that stuff. But I wrote it at the same time. The way that I was getting through it is that I was receiving this information and writing it. Now, I got to tell you, in the very beginning, I probably did what many of us do. We want to get help, but we won't let go. We won't let go of the control. And that's what I was doing. When I started writing in 1989, I would sit down and I would write a very specific question about what I wanted to know. And that's usually not the thing that's going to help you. And Wilhelm told me that at some point, why are you doing that? You're controlling again. So then I let go and I said, okay, I'm just going to ask for any advice for today. And that's when information started coming through. I could have never known that it was aligned in the way that it is. But again, when we develop something um, in our lives that can help others, we've got to talk about it and we've got to own it. We never know how that's going to happen. Humans are always developing something new, and it can come about in different ways. And that's what happened for me. Because it started to show me that some of the things I was writing was energetically aligned with planetary changes and astrological changes, which I had no clue of because I never studied it. Then in 2021, when I'm told very clearly that I had received everything that we would need to know in 2012, that made no sense, and I doubted it. I kept going back and trying to find bad messages from 2012. I didn't even know where they were. I couldn't find a bad message. And then when they said, and if I were to meet someone, I was given a message on their birthday in 2012. I doubted that as well. And it happened, it just keeps happening. It happened today with someone because we don't understand certain things all the time. We have a genetic code. I just happen to download the information. Doesn't make me any different or better than anyone. It's just a skill, a gift that I developed, and I didn't know that was going to happen. When I first started, I just needed some help. That was all. And I wasn't going to do channeling. I wasn't going to do any of that stuff. So I didn't want to be judged. I didn't want to be looked at in a different way. And that's the other thing that holds us back, that we can't expand outside of the limited awareness that we've had as humans to create something new. And so what happened was I saw this is something that could change the world. Because what it does is it has you go through the only difficulties we have in the world are the old ideas and beliefs that we're still hanging on to within us and then also collectively. That's why we have wars all the time. We're still fighting the same things that our ancestors did. So I had to go through that. I had to look at it all. And now I understand that by doing that, however, that's what caused me to heal and see things in an entirely new way. That's why I look at other people and I said, okay, I know who you are. I know that you're just only if something's you're blocked, you just haven't connected to your authentic self. And that's what this work is. And the message says this is a guide to this is self-actualization, self-empowerment, if you want to think of it that way, because becoming empowered means you're willing to own yourself and become that confident being. Now, it was challenging for me because I thought nobody's going to understand it or believe it. But when you read the messages, you will understand. And if you listen to the channeling session that came through on the full moon, you'll understand it as well. I'll leave links to that. So what I'm doing is I'm doing another channeling session tomorrow because we're moving through some challenging times, but when we come together, it's different. We start to understand things and we can appreciate what we're here to do. And that's what's been happening with the groups and the whole bit. And then next week, I'm having a meeting where I'm going to take it further. So tomorrow's the last day that it's going to be at the rate, my work is going to be at the rate that it is now, but you'll never get anything like this at that rate that changes your life. And I'll leave the testimonials in there. You can hear them. But I needed to be sure. I've always done that. Now I'm sure. I know that there's no question, there's no difficulty that you're having that this work hasn't answered. I had to live it all, so I do know that it's there. And with all the pages, all the information, it's only in consciousness. That's all. But the fact is, what happened, and I'll leave this because I couldn't have known it, the reason that it works is because it was using neuroscience and cognitive behavior training and putting new ideas into who you are to be so you can see beyond the limitations that exist. That's what happens. And it's a process and you stay with it. The only reason you don't accomplish what you're meant to in your life is that you give up, don't have a path, or you don't stay with it. I stayed with it. And that's why this turned out. But so many other people are doing that now, and we're going to extend it. That's what I'm doing. So check out the link, but also please register for the channeling session, even if you can't show up. I know it's Father's Day, but this is an important one. And I'm going to leave the messages. I published them early so that you could see the advanced wisdom that Wilhelm gives all of us. This wasn't just for me. I thought it was that in the beginning, but this was for everyone else. This was a philosophy of something that was being developed, and I didn't have a conscious contact awareness of that, but now I do. And life can surprise you at times, but I know that you are meant to live a great one, and it's all within you, and this work takes you there. That I do know. So check it all out, and I will see you soon. And if it's your first time here, please subscribe to the channel. I'm going to do a lot more. Okay, see you soon.